Tatiana, thank you so much for sharing from your journey with us today. Mm, we've been on
Like,
this journey, yeah, for a few weeks now. And I'm wondering, at what point did you feel that, yeah, I've read the book, I've followed you on social, I've listened to the podcast. At what point did you feel, okay, there is more to this? I actually need this container for the work in your program?
it's a funny answer because um, I I didn't know a whole lot about the program when I signed up. I just knew that there was something there, and I wanted more. And
Mm,
I was able not. I mean, I was actually not able to participate in the previous TTE
mhm.
weekend. And then, but then I did schedule the phone call with you. Um, I didn't even know what it was about. Just thought, hey, yes, I would love to have a conversation with,
Yeah.
with Dr. Valerie. And then you started asking me like what questions I have about the program, like what program? But without knowing much about it, I just knew that this was the way for me.
Mm,
Um, and I wasn't wrong. I actually, I did need to make some adjustments. Of course, the the payments were not that easy for me, but then I found a way to make it all at once, and it just kind of all aligned. It aligned.
mm.
Um,
I love
and
it that you were following your guidance, that there was more. You just felt drawn to explore. You learned about the program, everything aligned, although it seemed like it was not going to be easy. Everything came together.
everything came together, and it's exactly what I needed. I mean, I guess my authentic wisdom knew what she was doing,
Yeah.
because it's funny now that I've been through it, now that I have actually been through a TTE, and we talked so much about it and about the program and the pods, and I had no idea. So the first time I started hearing about the pods, I'm like, what? And then it turns out that the pod is one of the most magical circles I have ever been in. I mean, I had
Mm.
yeah that it was possible to connect so deeply and to love so deeply these women that I barely even, I mean, I did not know, and I barely even know, and we're very far apart, um, and our lives are completely different, yet we connect in such a beautiful way that it has definitely been like my guiding, like it's been guiding force, and also a space of safety and support and being me, and just appreciation of them. I'm in awe of them.
Wow.
And so that was just a really big gift I got.
Wow, Tatiana, and what a gift, what a gift it is to be with other women on this journey so deeply, discovering this capacity that you have to love them so deeply and to receive their love. And what a gift you've given them, every one of us, with your presence. And this is something that we don't even realize, right, before starting a journey, because most of us have not experienced this before, being in this community that really uplifts us and celebrates us, and where we can be so safe and so seen at the same time.
Yeah, no, completely. And learning how to just make space. I mean, the concept of making space was something that, yes, of course, I knew about, and maybe I even talked about, um but I don't think I really knew that the definition, or I practiced it so fully as I have in this course, in the pod. And just the idea of not having to fix anything, there's nothing broken, it's just giving space to what is. being with this and allowing it and appreciating it is definitely, that has been, I feel like, my biggest breakthrough. This reminder of I'm not broken. I don't need to keep working to change myself, to fix myself, to be better. I can just stop. I can just stop and allow what's there to come up. Doesn't mean that it's,
yeah.
but I prefer it so much more than the alternative, that it's just constant tightness around I have to change and I have to, I have to be better, and I don't know. It feels a lot better.
Yeah. I just felt that like the weight lifted out of my body as you were describing that shift. It is a lot better.
Yeah.
What has shifted for you because of this this work, through this journey, in any area of your life? When you look back at the shore and you look at where you started and where you were, what is different?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely still on my journey, and I will always be on my journey. But I do have to say that I am my emotions are flowing a lot more freely, and that it's all emotions. But I did have like a barrier against anger, or I mean, I think I discovered that I have a fear of anger, and that in a lot of ways I have been in freeze mode with respect to my anger. And a lot of the times, many situations that would definitely require me to get angry. I mean, I should have gotten really, really pissed off, and I just didn't, because my go-to mechanism was to appease, to control. Like, no, nobody get angry here. Let me tell you exactly what I like. It was I turned into this master of calming people down, instead of me just being in the moment and hearing what was, experiencing what was happening, and allowing myself to become angry, and understanding that, and and allowing myself to be angry without shaming myself, because there's a lot of shame that goes with anger. A lot of, how could I get so angry? How could I have reacted in this way? Oh, it must be that I'm not as enlightened as I thought I was. Like, all this meditation is for nothing now, because look at me getting so angry and reacting. So much shame. And so just allowing myself to feel anger without the shame has been amazing. I was actually able to have a very direct conversation where I could even feel my anger coming out, and I wasn't really controlling it. I was just very aware of it. And it was a work situation with a man that before, maybe I would have just said all the nice things to make this person like me, so that, yes, to get the contract, but also because I don't want to, not be liked by a powerful man, because then who would I be,
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
So I have to say, it felt really good to say exactly what I needed to say, and always being conscious of, okay, I need to these are the things that are important for me to say. I'm going to say them. And I remember physically feeling my anger coming out at that moment, but also like just having that awareness. I did not go overboard, or I didn't lose myself. It was myself with anger. And I say that the results were really good. It was kind of satisfying to see how uncomfortable this person got, because I've been holding, I mean, we're the ones that make everybody comfortable, you know? We get extremely uncomfortable, but heaven forbid that, you know, they get uncomfortable or he gets uncomfortable. No, no way. So we just hold it all. And it was really good to say, no, you need to get uncomfortable and you need to solve this problem. And I don't know what you're going to do, but we're going to talk again in a few days and you're going to give me a solution. So
It gives me chills, Tatiana. This is so, so good. Thank you for helping us all right now relate to anger differently, not as something destructive and dangerous, and you gotta do other things at all costs. And the costs are really high, the cost of appeasing people all the time and controlling the situation all the time. It takes so much energy. We pay a very high price, sometimes with our health and our mental health and our well-being, and also not getting results. Oftentimes what you were describing is this very different relationship with anger, where instead of like being possessed by it and spinning out of control, you were actually feeling the anger and you were in control. You were working with anger, and that anger helped you be very clear about the truth that you needed to communicate, about the non-negotiables, about what the expectations were, set the boundaries, and ultimately get a great result.
yeah. Yes. Yes.
Oh, I love that reclamation. We were so taught, we were so it was so drilled into us by patriarchy to like be demure and be nice and make everybody feel nice, not don't make anybody feel uncomfortable, especially men. Oh no, because it's dangerous to make a man feel uncomfortable. And here you were totally making a man feel uncomfortable because he was not delivering on what he needed to deliver on. And it helped him see what he needed to do and do
Definitely.
it. That
Definitely.
discomfort was very helpful. It was not dangerous. It was not, you were not damaging a relationship. You were actually steering the relationship to integrity, into integrity.
And you know what, in the end, you know, what ended up happening is that, yeah, I went back and, you know, they did find a solution. It's not, it turns out that it's the solutions that they want to give me are not really interested in. And turns out that I'm not, maybe I don't even want them as a client after everything. But that doesn't even matter. Like, it was so important to have those conversations and to state, like you say, my truth, because I did all the other things that I was holding in. I said, no, this is the truth, and we're all gonna hear it. And what happens after? Well, we don't know. But you know, now me being able to say, no, I don't want you as a client, because now that we've seen how everything works, I think I can find better things to do with our time.
That is
But
so powerful.
very, I can make that decision with a lot of, like, with being calm at the same time, you know, with a lot of security and safety, that I'm not letting something go, that I'm not failing. I didn't fail at this. No, it's a conscious decision of, this is not for us. This is not good for us.
Talk about taking everything to higher ground, taking your life to higher ground, taking your work to higher ground. And ultimately, if it is in the highest integrity of this relationship to, you know, go the separate ways, it is in the highest integrity and it is for everybody's good. And oftentimes women are so conditioned to sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice and make nice and make good, and it's not in integrity, and it feels awful and it feels draining. And then it shows up in our personal lives, it shows up in the workplace, and then nobody wins. It's just, and when we say no to something that's out of integrity, we say yes to something that is. I like that expression very much. Every big yes begins with a big no. I live by it. Um, and I see it happening in my work, and I see it happening with our thrivers like you every step of the way, coming back to your truth, coming back to your truth, getting into that full alignment with who you are, your values, your desires, while
Mhm.
honoring other people's. This is what creates that thriving reality for all.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that I'm very hard on myself usually, and I'm always reminding myself that I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I'm not. Um, and just being able to have more compassion toward myself is that has been really, really amazing. Um, it's it's probably the biggest gift that I have received from this program, and it's something that is still integrating, that I'm still practicing, and the way things come together to actually like strengthen this self-compassion. um it's it's amazing. I mean, it's
Mm. Tatiana, so powerful. You living this transformation, embodying it, and also taking it everywhere with you. You know, showing up in this new way, as a mom, in your work in the world, in your partnership. Are you noticing changes, right, in your experiences in all these different situations?
yes, yes. Yes. um my the harder I am with myself, the harder I'm going to be with my kids. uh,
Ooh.
I don't know how to hold space for my own feelings, for my own reactions, then I can't really hold space for them, even though I want to, but I have to live it in myself and for myself first. And actually, something that I've found is that these my prison guards have the form of my little tiny self, a little Tatiana, trying so hard to make everything work, and to make sure that I'm still loved by everybody, and to make sure I'm safe, and and that process of compassion. Yes, it definitely helps me with my kids. I mean,
Oh,
a conscious process, it just softens everything. Even when my son eats rice with his hands, I just the other day, I don't know, maybe the synchronicities start to come about, but I have had many experiences now that maybe have been, outside of the program, but that all of a sudden it's like, oh, so that's what it is. That's what it means to allow. Oh, so this is what it means to have compassion.
mm.
And it's happened in very deep ways, but also, the other day I ordered takeout, and I was, away from home. I didn't have any silverware, and I was with my friends, and we're like, so what do we do? How do we eat this rice? And I just started eating my rice, and I said, oh my God, so many times that I've told my son to not do this, to stop eating rice, but to use his fork. And I'm just like, I'm never doing this again. Poor kid. So right with your hands.
Oh, I love that synchronicity and the gentleness and compassion in this lesson. Yes, I also find that the more we're attuned, the more we're willing to go there gently and softly into learning the unfolding of our lives, right? Into how good can it get? The gentler the lessons are, and kind of humorous too. Hey, now you get to eat rice with your hands and feel even more compassion for yourself and your son. And like you said, it's like it's the little things, but our life is made out of little things, and all these little experiences string together.
Well, little and big. Other synchronicities that have come about is, our last meeting was pretty emotional and deep, because we did one of our um, thriving sisters had a big loss, and so we spoke a lot about grief,
Mm.
and us being able to give the earth our grief, because the earth can take it, and also that becomes fertilizer for the earth, and just even towards each other. When we give, we're afraid to show our grief, and we're afraid to give our pain to somebody else, yet that might be exactly what that person needs, and that becomes fertilizer. And this past weekend, I was able to witness very deep grief from a dear friend of mine, and I don't think I could have been as prepared to just hold space, and no, I don't have a solution to her problems, but I can just hold space and be there with her through everything and through the pain, and I can, and together with her, we can even give it to the earth. That is definitely stronger than both of us. But it turns out that that's the magic. That's the magic. That is the beauty. And oof, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's beautiful. And I having this experience with um, the my thriving sisters, with my pod, the program, everything. I feel like I needed to go through this even to be there at that moment. Um,
Just struck me so deeply. And what we were sharing before, that if you don't have space for your own feelings, you're not going to have space for your kids' feelings or your friends' feelings or anyone in your life's feelings. And that loops back into not having space for your feelings. And that's just the perpetual cycle. And when we shift out of this and into, I have space for my feelings now, I have space for this person's feelings, and it doesn't drain me. I actually have the tools to be there, but it doesn't drain me. It actually opens up space for even more. It opens up space for joy. It opens up space for connection, opens up space, right? And
yes,
that's a whole different cycle. The more space we have in ourselves, the more space we have there for everybody. But it doesn't come from a place of, oh, I don't have space, but I'm going to sacrifice anyway. It comes from that I can be with it all. And it just enriches, right? Enriches us, enriches others, and our relationships just get deeper. That love and how we show up for each other, how we walk each other home. Wow. Tatiana, thank you. Thank you for sharing from your journey. And I know our journey together continues. I'm so excited that we'll get to journey forth and make even more discoveries. And I'm so grateful for the path that we've already shared. And yeah, and what it is making possible in the world, how the ripples are spreading from your transformation into self-compassion and space for everything that you are, all your emotions, right? That intimacy, that love, spreading and giving others permission to have that too. It is a pleasure changing the world with you, Tatiana. Thank you so
well,
much.
thank you for welcoming me into your circle, and for everything that you're doing. Thank you.